Tip number 274 from the book 501 Contractor Tips. This is in the area of pricing strategies. Only work for good clients. And this probably sounds a little vague. And for those of you who it sounds, only work for good clients, only associate with good people. Little vague statement, I understand that. But the bottom line is, you need to associate with, and this applies to your personal life and your work, your career. You need to be around people who don't create a lot of problems. And I understand, I mean, I'm sure right now, if I was to ask you, can you give me at least one person out of the closest 10 people you know who is the biggest pain in your rear end, you're going to be able to whip off a name just like that. And you might be able to provide me with 2 or 3 people. This is okay if that's the life you want. But in business, this creates problems. How does it create a problem? Because you're going to get referrals from these people's friends who could also be pains in the rear ends. Difficult people to work with. So when I say to only work with or for or with and good people, or at least as much as you can. And I do understand that you're not going to be able to get everything you want all the time. When work slows down, you might not be able to be choosy. When work is plentiful, you might be able to just say, I'm not working with that person. I have actually went into people's homes and within a few minutes realized I don't want to work for these people, have no interest in all at being here any longer. I'm just going to go through the motions and see if I can get out of here. And there's a reason why, because I have dealt with difficult people in the past, and it creates a lot of frustration. I lose sleep at night worrying about the job. Maybe it's it's a constant. Every morning, when you greet them, it's you get a feeling it is just these people are just jerks, or throughout the day you might have someone come out. I've worked on jobs before where I've had the owner of the house there all day long watching me do my job. And I remember one job I had to tell a person, get out of here, let me do my job. You're slowing me down, and if you want to hire somebody else, hire them, but I used a couple of 4-letter words to express myself to them, and they did. One job I worked on, I was working for a contractor as a subcontractor. I had to tell him to have the one person that was the husband, I had to have him stay away from me because it was too much. It stressed me out too much. Whenever this guy come around, I was stressed out, and that's no way to run a business. I mean, you think about it, and I know some people, some of this stuff that I'm sharing with you never enters your mind. Even when I tell you, even when I share the information with you, it goes in one ear and out the other. This is just how some people are. I mean, realistically, it's how most people are. They pay attention to a little bit, or they start watching the video, and I don't need to do that. I cannot tell you how many videos I've watched that I kind of sat through thinking they were going to be stinkers and learned one thing in that video. And that one thing turned out to be very important. Audiobooks, also reading. I can't tell you how many times I've came across that. But I'm listening with the intent of learning. I'm not just listening for pleasure. I'm not just listening to, waste time or something like that. So if you're going to work for somebody, it's kind of like, you have 24 hours in a day, and 8 of those hours, if you're working 8 hours a day, might be associating with people that irritate you. And you do a job like you're building a custom home, you're going to be working on the job for 6 months, 9 months. This isn't going to be pleasant. And if the money's there and this is how you want to work, go for it. For me, it's not worth it anymore. The money can be there, and the people are a little irritating. I just cut them loose. Just see you later. And again, like I said, during bad times, you're not going to be able to do this. You're going to have to put up with some crap. But it goes back to limiting what you can, reducing the involvement when you can. And then when you have to, you're going to have to. You'll have to deal with some of these people. But when you don't have to, get rid of these people. It's to me, it just isn't worth the money.